Hey everyone, James Labrie from Dream Theater, and you're listening to or watching the podcast Talking Into Infinity with JT and Brian. Enjoy this. These guys are extremely informative. I love their dialogue. I love their interpretation of the songs, who and what we are, what we were going after. They're very accurate in their interpretations and descriptions, and I just think this is a great show, and these guys are doing a stand-up stellar job. So once again, enjoy Talking Into Infinity with JT and Brian.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Talking Into Infinity, a Dream Theater-centric podcast. I'm your host, John. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, all of our normal stuff, blah, 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 blah. The normal intro is not going to apply tonight. So I should have changed my name on the screen here. I am not John tonight. If I get a little weepy, I apologize. If I get a little drunk, I apologize. My name tonight is Nano. As of 11:38 a.m. this morning, my grandson came into this world, little MJ, and I got to meet him today, and I got to hold him, and he is just the kid's a yeti. He's the hairiest damn little dude you've ever seen. But he's got giant cheeks. He's our little chunk of monk, and it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He's just wonderful. He's doing great. Mom's doing great. Dad's doing great. My incredible wife, Steph, she got the call at like 12:30 last night. So she's in bed right now. She's been awake for close to 20 hours. But yeah, I was passed out down here drunk after the Pantera show. So she went to the hospital and was there for the whole thing. And so it's been a day. Not only did my grandson come into the world, but I've been working on a homemade Van Halen lefty guitar for myself for over 15 years, and it's finished, and I got it today. So here we are, lefty Van Halen guitar. I picked that up today. So it's been it's been a day. So I'm a little emotional, very excited, very tired. I only had a few hours of sleep myself because I woke up about 5 a.m. And yeah, it's not every day that you get to meet your new best friend, and a little life comes, into your universe, and kind of changes everything. So it's a hell of a day, man. I'm blessed. I'm glad I got to come on and do the show because I can't thank all you guys. I've gotten so many messages from people like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Like listeners and viewers. And it's incredibly touching. And I wanted to thank you guys so very much. But also it's great to hang out with Brian and my best buddy, Chris Aiken, and they'll be on in just a quick second here. I did warn them that I was going to pontificate a little bit, but I think today I'm allowed a couple minutes to celebrate and talk a little bit about what's going on personally. So if you guys are drinking like me, cheers, man. Here's to my little grandson. May God bless him and keep him safe for all his life, man. All right. So, let's get to it here. Real quick note here. My internet has been sucking on this computer for some reason lately. So if I look like shit, I apologize. And if I eventually start like looking and sounding like crap, I may drop out and just let Brian and Chris take over so that it doesn't bog the show down. So, just a quick warning there, but, I love you guys. Oh man, all the comments, man. Doug McCauley, love you, dude. Says, congrats, John. Johan says, congrats. Kale, congratulations. Aaron Taft. Yeah. And Kale says, Jesus, clean your camera, mate. Blurry as hell. Yeah, it's the internet, Kale. I apologize. It's going to happen. So, yeah. Oh my God, you guys are the best. So yeah. All right, let's bring on another co-host and get down to business here. Without further ado, it is of course Mr. Brian Hendrickson and my incredible best friend Chris Aiken, otherwise known as Brain and Satan. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, congrats, man. And easy on you got a new best friend thing, man. That hurts right here. It hurts me deep.
Sorry, man.
Doesn't hurt me. It lets me off the hook. Thank
Yeah,
God.
that's true.
Thank God.
look at Doug McCauley. I can't wait till John tells the kid about being at Score.
Well, he mentioned Score. Does that mean we all drink if someone else brings it up?
It does, man. It does.
Oh, dude, congratulations. So you were totally useless then, like when you got it was a new level of drunkenness. You couldn't even get over to the did you actually go over then at all? Or when did you actually go do something like somewhat coherently after that night last night?
With the kid? No, I mean, like I said, my stepson and I went to Pantera. It was fucking great.
Okay.
Aiken, you would have loved the set list. They played some real deep shit. I mean, they
I heard
even played one
like
of the
tens and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, they played one of the the song titles are escaping me right now, but one of the two studio tracks off of 101 Proof. They did one of them.
Okay.
I think it was All Cast a Shadow, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, they deep cuts. But yeah, me and my stepson, we were out in the parking lot pre-gaming because we didn't want to pay concert prices, and we got in there right as Amon Amarth was finishing. And just waited about 20 minutes and caught Pantera, headed home. And yeah. So Kale McLeish asks, did they do Hellbound? Yeah. Yes, they did. It was pretty cool, man. Even my stepson, who's a huge Pantera guy, he's like, holy crap, I gotta listen to Pantera again. I didn't recognize a couple of these songs. I'm like, yeah, you gotta go listen to fucking Reinventing the Steel, man. So
right.
love you, man. He says, congrats, John. R.I.P. Ozzy. Yep. Doug McCauley says Zach Wilde must have been sullen as fuck. No, you know what, dude? He actually was not. I mean, he was kicking ass for sure, but he definitely wasn't like, you wouldn't think he was like, you would have thought he would have been kind of like bummed out, but he sure didn't act like it. So yeah, to your question, Brian, no, I woke up at 5 and I was like, I was texting with my wife, and I just started drinking energy drinks and water and just every single possible thing I could, tried to piss about 8,000 times and just get the toxins out of me.
Nice.
So yeah, but
sweet.
Yeah, so that's my life. Obviously we're here today to talk about the big news, of course, which is Malcolm Jamal Warner having passed. We're gonna do this whole episode about Malcolm. Or I'm sorry,
I was wondering
Hulk
if we were
Hogan.
going to talk about him or if we were going to talk about the guy from Golden Earring that also died.
Yeah, I didn't even know his name. Was
George
that the main?
Something.
Is he the main singer, dude? Or
I have no clue.
Oh, I love their two hits. I loved, but
other than the bullet hitting the bone, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I like Radar Love. That's a decent song.
Yeah, when White Lion did it.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, today was a bad day for celebrities, man. Yeah.
This week?
Yeah. Doug McCauley, we're not here for the Hulkster. I don't think you want to know. I don't think you want to know Aiken and my opinion of Hulk Hogan.
No.
Everyone should be all deferential right now. Aiken and I hate Hulk Hogan. So
yes, I've been trying all day. I've been getting messages from people saying, "Oh, the Hulkster died. The Hulkster died," and I've really done well all day long to say, "Oh, that's too bad." Not yep. I'm upset. Not because believe me, the next pay-per-view that they trot out some 90-year-old guy, it won't be Hulk anymore, and I'm happy about that. Yeah. I get tired of the. You know what, Hulk? I don't hear you no more, motherfucker.
I wanted to post on Facebook, find the gif of him hulking up, like doing the. I'd be like, Hulk Hogan died. Oh, that's it. Oh, wait a minute, and then have the gif go. Like, he hulked up from death. Like that's what he's gonna do, man.
They replaced the vitamins with cyanide.
Yes.
Goodbye, sir.
Or real American beer.
Ugh. How did you find that stuff? Oh, well, you got the hat too.
Yeah, we're actually sponsors. We got sponsored by them, so I'm not gonna go.
It's a short sponsorship.
Yeah, it's funny. We literally just got it like 3 weeks ago,
and it ends today.
Such a weird coincidence. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
yeah. Actually, I think his brother-in-law or somebody started the company. Who's actually in Ohio, but I know nothing about wrestling. I stopped literally watching wrestling. I think about the time he became, like mid 80s or whatever. So it was like real early 80s. I was done with wrestling. So other than what Thunder Lips in Rocky, what was that, 3?
Rocky 3.
Yeah, other than Thunder Lips, that's about all I know of anything he actually did. But
Well, if you saw one match,
if you
saw them
saw
all.
one match, exactly.
yeah,
if you saw him
Great
shaking,
minds.
if you saw him shaking, pointing at you, and then throwing a lame ass leg drop, then you know everything there is to know about Hulk Hogan. That's all
Yeah.
he
Right.
did.
Yeah, the only two matches that were ever different was the one he lost to the Genius on Saturday night's main event, and then when he actually lost to the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. Everything else, same goddamn thing over and over again. Oh man,
I didn't even know he was still going
Yeah.
out there the last few years.
He got booed out of LA
His last show.
was that last WrestleMania, maybe.
Okay, I didn't even know. I thought he'd
yeah.
been done for a while.
Yeah, because
No,
he showed up like 2 weeks earlier at a Trump rally or something, and then he
Okay.
showed up in the heart of liberal America, Los Angeles, and just got booed out of
Nice.
the building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I think, yeah. Ugh. All right, so let's get to the actual topic, which fucking sucks.
Theo
this is-
Huxtable, man. Oh,
Yeah, that's
it's a sad day.
well. We still got Malcolm and Eddie on DVD, though. You know, at least
true.
3 seasons of
Malcolm and
that
Eddie.
of that atrocity.
Okay, so Bill
Thought he was
Cosby's
in the middle.
What was
very
that?
well played. He said, "I thought he was in the middle." That's very well played. I
Oh
like that.
yeah, right.
Yeah, dude, how what kind of a world do we live in? Like, how is karma fair when Bill Cosby is drugging and raping a shitload of women? Sorry to bring up something gross, but there we go off of YouTube. And that guy's still alive and kicking, but Theo Huxtable, who's never done anything to anybody, dies drowning on a family vacation. What is that?
Trying to save his 8-year-old kid. Yeah, that
Yep.
sucks.
Oh really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yep.
and not only that, I was talking to somebody about Malcolm Jamal Warner today, actually, and you want to talk about a tragedy. That guy was a pretty good actor. I don't know if you ever saw anything else that he did other than Theo Huxtable, but he was damn good on Sons of Anarchy. He was in one of the rival biker gangs.
I forgot
he-
all about that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And he
mhm.
was damn good on that show. But because of Bill Cosby,
Yeah.
he didn't get to go to syndication. That probably cost this guy millions of dollars because he wasn't seen every day in syndication where he would have got more jobs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 100%.
That sucks.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I have to say, Aiken, you and I talked about this the day it happened. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're here to talk about Ozzy.
Right.
I was not all broken up and everything, but I have to admit, like once it set in and I saw the tributes and everything, it really kind of started to hit me. And you know, Aiken, we'll start with you because I think you phrased it perfectly when we talked on the phone the other night. You said that this is probably the biggest music story, at least biggest metal story of our lifetimes.
Oh,
so,
It
talk a
is.
little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, look, it's kind of easy to pinpoint if you really want to. Anybody that's ever played heavy metal thanks Black Sabbath, has to thank Black Sabbath. I don't care what style of metal it is. I don't care if it's Dream Theater. I don't care if it's Cannibal Corpse. Pick a style. It all came from Black Sabbath, every bit of it. So on that level, the guy that led them, that's one very big piece of the puzzle gone. He also kind of invented reality TV. Maybe not invented it, but before him, you had what? Puck and the AIDS guy from The Real World. And that was it. Like, you just had regular dudes. All of a sudden you're seeing this monstrous figure, in his life as a goofball, which was great to see. And it really kind of made everybody want to see that. He kind of reinvented TV. Everything Ozzy did, I saw a thing from, I forget who said it. It was some celebrity said it, but it was such a good point. Was like, with Ozzy, you always got Ozzy. You there's never a time, none of us can point to something and say, well, I saw Ozzy on this TV show and he looked like he was faking it. He was always real. It didn't matter, and somehow he transitioned from the most feared figure in all of music. which he was when the bat got its head bit off and then pissing on the Alamo and all that. He was the number one enemy of music. And he became maybe the most revered, at least one of the top 10 most revered musical guys, I would say, ever. Right there with Robert Plant, Mick Jagger, those level of guys. Ozzy's right there with those level of guys. And yeah, it's a huge story. The only story I could think of metal-wise as big or even close to as big, and I don't think it's as big as much as it pains me probably more, was Dimebag getting killed. But and the only reason I think that's such a big story is because of how. If Dime would have had a heart attack like his brother had a heart attack, nobody talks about that at all. Just like, Vinny died too. But the fact that he died on stage and there's video and everything else made it such a big story. This is a big story. And quite honestly, the concert, the guy got to watch his own wake.
Yeah.
How great is that? He literally watched the biggest names in the world today and yesterday get up and say thank you to him 2 weeks before he died. That's going out like a legend. That's how legends do it, man.
Well, and you said it's like the Lemmy thing. Dude finishes a tour, gets home, next day goes to the doctor because he feels like shit. Doctor goes, "You got cancer." 3 days later, he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking crazy. And I didn't like I don't know if I'm telling tales out of school here, but that rumor that you told me that you had heard, am I allowed to mention that? Or I don't
go
know.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. But you had said that you had heard that Ozzy was in hospice and no one said anything, and they got him out of hospice to do the show, and then he went right back into hospice afterwards.
And
so the guy
came out.
Yeah. If the guy was on death's door and did that, if that isn't fucking metal, I do not know.
Sure. Iommi said just today, there was a quote from Iommi where he said that he truly believes the only reason Ozzy kept himself alive was to do that show. And then once the show was over, he was like, "All right, that's it. I've done it. I'm done. Nothing else to do."
My buddy Nick said, "You know what I think happened?" He said, "I think that Ozzy got through with that show, knew that he was going to croak and was like, fuck this," and went on a 2-week bender and basically just offed himself with booze and drugs. And he was like, that would be the most Ozzy thing ever. And I thought about it. I was like, you know what? That would be the most Ozzy thing ever. Like,
it would.
If that came out, that was the truth, I'd be like, oh, he's even cooler, man.
That'd be the one time that being a drug addict would be acceptable.
I know, right? We'd all be like, go Ozzy, fuck yeah, man. So Brian, when this news, came around, I know like you're a few years older than I am. So when Ozzy hit his solo career in 1980, I know you were just getting into your early 60s. So, what was it? You're a huge music guy, but I know you're like a hard rock metal guy as well. And so, what was your reaction when this all went down? Like, what were you thinking? Like,
just kind of like Chris was saying, man, just what an icon. I wasn't really sad, and I'm still not sad about it, because I think the guy was truly, suffering and not doing great at all. And I don't think anybody should be, forced to quote hang around when you're everything is failing organ wise and mentally and all that. But that's another show we can do sometime.
Yeah.
But
about John.
Exactly. Let's do it right now, actually. No, but one thing
I can watch my own wake. I can
participate.
One thing
I do want to bring up, and I was talking with Bob Hurd from the Two Bobs Bobcat. He brought up a point too, and I'm sure Chris was probably going to get to this, but like, there's that whole second generation that came after me that was introduced to him because of Ozfest. And not to mention, like, and Aiken maybe remembers this a little bit better because you're a little bit younger, John, but like the early 90s there, alternative and all that was destroying all metal. Like Priest couldn't sell like 6,500 tickets with that bill they had with Motorhead or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that metal was dying. And I might be wrong on some of the bands here, but like your Lamb of God, your Kill Switch Engages, your Seven Dust. I don't know. There's probably 20 other bands I'm forgetting, right? Maybe like down. I don't know. Pantera's probably did their own thing, but there's probably 35 Hatebreed. There's 35 other bands that might have never seen the light of day or got the exposure they did because of what he did with Ozfest. So that's a whole nother thing of kind of keeping metal alive when it was about as dead as humanly possible. And I don't know how much Sharon had to do with that. Apparently she is a really smart business person, even though I question some of the things she did. But to go back to your original point, I was kind of introduced to Ozzy. I was supposed to go to that show in St. Louis literally 2 weeks before the bat dove, whatever it was, incident, before he bites that thing off, cancels that show. I'd actually talked my mom into letting me go somehow, because there was no way in hell she was going to let me go. Somehow I was able to go. And then she heard about that. And it was like, okay, well, if he ever comes back here, there's no way in hell you're going. All right. after this. And, I think the first time I even heard him, I'd sort of missed the first solo album, and then Flying High Again came onto whatever was our AOR rock station. So then I kind of went backwards, like, what the hell is this? Is the greatest thing I ever heard in my life. So I went out and bought Diary of a Madman. And then I joined the Columbia Record Tape for the 5 millionth time to go back to get Blizzard of Oz. I think I told you the story before, John. It was like Blizzard of Oz, Fair Warning.
Hell yeah.
I had a pretty good, decent collection there. With some of the early Pat Benatar, which is super heavy stuff with Neil Giraldo too, but no,
nothing wrong with a good Crimes of Passion. Or,
man, Crimes of Passion was great, but
or even Get Nervous was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great stuff. I know John thinks we're joking. I'm literally not.
John has no idea. What are these records? Never heard of them.
I've heard of them.
Pat Boone.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just when a guy who's just so responsible for an entire genre, forget generation, like 3 to 4 generations, right? Of things. And I don't know. I mean, Chris is right about the reality TV thing, but I was always kind of like, I sort of didn't like that because it sort of turned into your goofy, Grandpa Ozzy thing. And I think it sort of took away a little of the mystique that I used to like about him, like, oh, man, he's this evil, crazy guy. And they commercialized him to the point where I think the average people that, maybe would have been more into his music probably kind of sort of wrote him off a little bit, just so this guy's a freaking goofball. But he still did make some great albums in the 90s too, even in the 2000s there was some decent stuff. But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and I think you make a good point there, but I think it was, and correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but I think
you're wrong.
We can just assume that.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, his public persona became a little goofy thanks to the show and everything, but that never crossed over into his live persona. Like, Aiken, you talk a lot about, you're an enormous Metallica guy. I am too, and I've just been fucking furious with that band since Load. But I mean, you've been on record many times as saying, last time you went to see him, it's like James Hetfield was like, "Oh, hi friends, we're family," and but back in the day it was fuck you, like spitting venom. And, they changed with age. Ozzy did not.
Nope.
Even though his public persona was, look at this doddering idiot on reality TV, like that's what people saw him as on TV, and people thought of him. But for people that went to the shows and were fans of the music, when you went to an Ozzy show, you got a goddamn Ozzy show. He never changed. So I think he deserves a ton of respect for that. Like, I mean,
and the other piece to this is, and I'm going to go back to what Brian was saying before. I think one of the reasons Ozzy didn't dip while everybody else did was because of the Osbournes. Because while everybody else was playing music that nobody wanted to hear anymore, or most people didn't want to hear, they wanted to hear Candlebox or Sponge or whatever the fuck they were listening to at that era.
Yeah.
Here came Ozzy with something different and away from music. And it gave him a new life with those kids that were Limp Bizkit fans or whatever. And then if you think, and again, this takes a little bit of being in the scene a little bit and remembering, but if you remember when he was touring in the early 2000s, same as the show was out, who were the opening bands? Deftones, Korn, Bizkit.
Yep.
He took those bands, like he adapted his career to the audience, and then introduced a new audience to his music. And he's the only
Yeah.
one that did that in the 40 years that we're talking about. He's the only
Yeah.
one that did that.
Well, I mean, and it's interesting because like you know how big he was and is and will always be. But it's when you really get into conversations like we're having now and you start listing out the things that he has done, when you really start it really hits you that like, holy shit, this guy did everything. And he was the progenitor of, like you said, like every single band we love, it was because of Ozzy and Sabbath. And he and kept going. Like the only person I can think of that has pivoted, the way he has, and this is a terrible example, the guy, he's hilarious, like I'm sure everybody loves him, but like Snoop Dogg, the guy was like the ultimate gangster rapper. Now he's like, doing shows with Martha Stewart and stuff, but he's enormous, and the guy is still relevant, and but he's also, I don't know how much he tours musically anymore or anything like that, or what but I mean, he's pretty much just known for, now he's like kind of like a funny personality type of thing.
Although just on that note, I will just tell you, Snoop Dogg has a brand new album out called Missionary, and it kicks ass.
Okay,
it is the best. Awesome. It's the best Snoop Dogg album since probably the Dogfather. So don't write him off completely musically.
No, well, I'm not, but I never hear anything about his music.
Of course you don't. It doesn't. It's not red with white lines all over it. You don't listen to it.
Eat a ball bag. Look,
hey, he's going to introduce his grandson to all three kinds of music: Van Halen, Dream Theater, and Wolfgang Mammoth.
Mammoth.
What's wrong with that? The kid's only going to get hip hop otherwise.
This is the music of your generation. It's Mammoth.
It is. No, Wolfgang is his generation. Shut up. Look at Toomey. When Kermit the Frog eulogizes you, you did something right.
That's a good point.
That's true, man.
The Satanic Rainbow Connection.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, like I say, like when you really start and you start listing out the things that he's done, and you kind of realize, I mean, to your point, like, with the whole Ozfest thing, and then also like you said, pivoted to his audience. I mean, and he also, he knew how big and how popular he was, and he used his own platform to introduce people to these bands. You know what I mean? Like he was like, hey, he let people ride his coattails to kind of build, he kind of kept that genre going. I mean, to your guys' point, like about, the early 90s and it being like grunge and alternative and all that kind of shit, but Ozzy was still doing his thing, and he started Ozfest, because he couldn't get booked on Lollapalooza. Like he let people ride his coattails to keep the genre going. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, it's, again, like when you really start thinking about everything that the guy did, it's like, I mean, it becomes more and more impressive, I mean, and I mean, think about it, there has never been and never will be another guy who comes out of a legendary band and actually is arguably bigger on his own than the band he left. I mean, the guy's in Black Sabbath, for Christ's sakes. Every single heavy band ever credits Black Sabbath. And yet Ozzy's solo career was probably bigger than Black Sabbath was. I mean, that's unheard of.
May have been bigger, but wasn't better. Wasn't better, though.
Well, that's neither here nor there. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's, I mean, think about it. How many fans do you think know him solely based off his solo stuff? And for them, True. Black Sabbath is an afterthought, which is criminal.
Well, but you know what the unique thing about his two careers thing is? They're not musically similar. They're, other than that they, they're heavy metal. I mean, you'll never hear an Ozzy tune and say, "Oh, is that a Sabbath tune?" Oh, wait, no, that's a you'll never do that. I mean, they're very different sounding things, and both were amazingly popular. It's really crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great point. JG3 says Dio and Rainbow. That's a good call. But I think the difference there, Jay, is that Rainbow was not anywhere near on the level that Sabbath was. So I think that's frankly, a little
that comment right there, Dio and Rainbow, that just screams of Black Sabbath and Ozzy light.
Yeah.
Rainbow wasn't as big as Black Sabbath, and Dio certainly wasn't as big as Ozzy. And
Well, and
don't
Dio,
get me wrong, I love Dio.
Yeah, but Dio got all of his main help from getting huge by what? Being in Black Sabbath,
Black
right?
Sabbath,
It wasn't Rainbow that got him, his last
Yeah.
in lines and his Rainbow in the Darks and like that. That was all
Mhm.
because of Black Sabbath. I mean, I like Rainbow as a band, but that was all
Yeah.
because of what he did with Sabbath.
All right, Toomey brings up Dave Grohl. I think that's close, but I think I might disagree because Nirvana is just too influential.
Dave Grohl is what? Dave Grohl is what?
Foo
The
Fighters.
business kiss ass?
Foo Fighters, Foo Fighters as opposed to Nirvana.
He's already been replaced by Wolfie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and what about like the people in his band too? Like, I mean, there'd be no, and I'm not kidding around here. Like, there would have been no Badlands, right? There'd be probably be no Black Label Society. Like, I mean, those guitar players that got a chance to shine just because they got an extra leg up. I mean, probably still be all great players in their respective. But it's like, would they have gotten those kind of shots? I mean, probably not.
Probably
right?
not.
I mean, yeah.
Well, and there's other guys that didn't get the gigs but got the tryouts that went on to have pretty successful careers. George Lynch Lynch got a tryout, didn't get the gig. He obviously went on to do big things. Mark Torian got a tryout and then obviously formed the Bullet Boys after it. But, he tried out to be the fucking Jakey Lee, which I don't think a lot of people even remember that nonsense. But
I didn't even know that.
Most people don't even know he plays guitar, but he plays guitar on that level and had a tryout with Ozzy and just didn't get the gig.
Well, I mean, even on a smaller level, Frank Sidoris, he posted a letter that he got from Ozzy. He tried out a few years back right before Zach rejoined. And I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I mean, I love Frank Sidoris. I've seen him, but I know him as the rhythm guitar player for Slash, and for Mammoth. I didn't know the guy was a player on that level, but here he is trying out for Ozzy. It's like, so the guy obviously can fucking play. I mean,
oh yeah,
and the other thing is, like, I mean, and I know that Ozzy doesn't write the riffs and stuff like that, but he had a big hand in the musical aspect of things, obviously, dude. To come out of Black Sabbath and to start a solo career, and he gets Randy Rhoads, obviously like a fucking legend. And within a couple of years of getting Randy Rhoads dies, and Ozzy still keeps going. I mean, and
didn't even cancel gigs.
Yeah. I mean, who was the filling guy? It was Brad Gillis, wasn't it?
I think they had, if my history is right, they had Bernie Torme come in for like 4 or 5 shows, and then they got Gillis in there because Gillis was out on tour with Night Ranger.
Yep.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, dude, I mean, he nothing could stop the guy. I mean, I always laugh about this, but if you go listen to Live and Loud, that was his farewell tour in 1992,
right?
Like, it was like, yeah, I'm done. And then he didn't actually stop until like what, 2019, I think, when he finally when just
he
couldn't go anymore.
Right.
Yeah. like 27 years later or whatever the hell it is. Like, that's, I mean, it's just it's incredible, man.
Did you see that tour, the No More Tours tour?
I saw videos and it was
I saw it. It was fun. I saw it at the Empire Concert Club, them and Prong. It was it was way too small for Ozzy.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun, man.
Holy crap, he played at the Empire?
He played at the Empire for No More Tours.
Did not know that.
No More,
because he did like one like small venue run for No More Tours, and I caught one with Prong.
That's awesome.
It was fucking fantastic. It's great.
Yeah, I only got to see him live twice, and that was the legendary one I always tell Drake about with the Master of Puppets tour, like 3 months before Cliff died, and then I saw
Richfield.
Well, this is when I was in St. Louis.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it was like March or April, and then Cliff died. I think it was June or something. But
no, September is end of September.
Okay.
I want to say September 27th.
Oh wow. Yeah, I knew it was a few months later, but then the last time I saw him was as Chris mentioned, he played with Korn and Deftones, and I'd never heard either band, and I thought it was the worst stuff I'd ever heard in my entire life. life.
Nice.
And to this day, I hate like the first 2, 3, maybe the first 2 Korn albums, but a lot of stuff they've done since I really dig. But that early stuff was just like anybody who was there to see Ozzy had no idea what the hell they were in for with those 2 bands, man. I mean, it was just like, what in the hell is going on? I was not ready for that. But Ozzy, he sounded great there, though.
I'll tell you the best story about that tour that I have. I saw that tour with at Gund, and I was standing kind of side stage because I've known Zach for a long time. So I'm standing side stage, and the stage was raised. It was like a higher stage than a normal stage. It was just raised up some. And on the side, there was like a rope ladder for people to climb up. And some dumbass fan jumped the barrier and got down there and started climbing up this rope ladder. And Zach, it was on Zach's side of the stage. Zach takes a look. He walks right over to the guy. The guy pokes his head up. Boom, with a boot. Knocks him right down to the floor. Knocked him right off. It was fucking hilarious. I just remember laughing my ass off. And this guy's probably dead, but that's good stuff.
Oh man.
So I have to ask, and I'll give mine and the reason for it. I kind of told the story the other night when I was on for a minute, but do we have a favorite Ozzy record? Mine is Ultimate Sin, and very close second would be Diary of a Madman, so I can't argue with that. JG3. John doesn't even know which Metallica album Miles Davis guest plays. Up yours, Jay. Nice. I am the table. But yeah, for me, it's Ultimate Sin, and I told the story the other night, but you know, like when I was a kid, the first 3 records I remember after I discovered music through Van Halen in 1984, it was Shout at the Devil, VOA, and the third one was Ultimate Sin. And you know, I got home from school before my older brother, who's 9 years older than I was. So in 86, I was 10, and I would go up in his room, you know, and go through his tapes and shit because he had a sound system and everything. And I saw the Ultimate Sin cassette, and I saw the album cover. I was like, oh my God, this is like evil as fuck, man. Like this is, and my dad hated rock and roll. He was pissed that he didn't want me listening to it. So I purposely had to listen to it because I was, you know how it is. Like as much as people like, yeah, it was rebellious. Well, for me, I felt rebellious. You know, it was like I was a cool kid because everybody my age was listening to goofy shit and pop and all this, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, I'm listening to Ozzy and Motley Crue and Scorpions and so I always have that, you know, every time I see that album cover, I'm just like, I remember feeling like, wow, man, this is satanic. But the music hit me because I was a huge guitar guy. I still am, you know, from, you know, Eddie Van Halen's influence. And the one thing that still sticks out to me about Ultimate Sin is that it is a guitar nerd's dream. I mean, Jakey Lee is just, I mean, explosive all over that record, man. I mean, it is amazing. And the hooks are great. I mean, the songs are killer. And I can't believe that album doesn't get more love. And I know, Aiken, that you have said that like that was the quote unquote keyboard era of Ozzy, so you're not really a fan. But man, I don't hear keys on it. I just, God damn. I mean, I was listening to it just yesterday again, and I'm like, God, this record is good. So
part of my problem with it was seeing the tour, and it was definitely a hair metal Ozzy that was out there. That's when he cut his hair and put the frosted highlights in his hair and stuff. And
yeah,
I mean, the tour was not good.
Sequin glittery robe.
Yes, it was like Ric Flair coming out of a big chair. It was dumb. You know, it really wasn't very good. But I mean, there's some songs that are okay on that album. I don't hate that album. I don't like the hits though. I didn't like Shot in the Dark at all. That just sounds like
really
every piece of trash song that got thrown out by every piece of trash band in that era. It's just hook, chorus, hook, go for the easiest thing possible. As far as your comment about Jake, I think Jake played way better on Bark. Way better.
Dude, that is a record I cannot get into. And I have tried. And there's like, obviously Bark at the Moon kicks ass, and there's one other song I like, and I can't remember what it is.
Rock and Roll Rebel.
Yeah, those are the only 2 good ones in my opinion on there.
Yeah. Samantha Gangadine, great to see you. Sam says Ozzy Osbourne is awesome with a big legacy and comic musician. I agree with you, Sam. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, I don't know. Bark at the Moon. I cannot get into that record, and God have I tried. God have I tried. I don't know why it doesn't grab me.
I don't know, 'cause you're
J-
wrong.
Shut up. Speaking of wrong, JG3 says "Shot in the Dark" being bad is an objectively wrong opinion.
Well, that's fine.
And Jackal
I'm
says
allowed to
"Shot
be
in the
right.
Dark" is
He's allowed to
awesome.
be wrong. You're all allowed to like fucking cheesy music. It's fine.
All right, so what's your favorite Ozzy album, Chris?
For me,
Yeah.
it's kind of a 1A, 1B. I mean, if I don't say Diary, then I'm lying because
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I listened to it this afternoon even and was still like, God damn, these songs are great. All of them.
Yeah.
It's like literally a perfect record. But I've said many times, man, my go-to for Ozzy is No More Tears. Always has been. I love it. You know, I do have some bias because I've known Zach since then, since, you know, even before then. I used to hang out with him at the Omni and drink, you know, when I lived out in LA. So drinking with Zach Wilde is an adventure all by itself, and it's something you don't forget. But yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, those are probably my two there as far as Ozzy. And then, you know, as far as Black Sabbath, pick one of the first five. It doesn't even matter.
Well, the thing with
See-
No More Tears is that's like, okay, they had $8 trillion and they actually put it to good use and made it sound like an 8 trillion
Yes.
huge. I mean, it sounds like the biggest album you've ever heard out of his entire catalog, and I think that's definitely what helps that album. The production is just out of this world.
But there's some cool songs on that one that didn't get a ton of love. Like my favorite song on that record is and always will be Zombie Stomp, which
Good song.
most people don't know even of that song.
No, that's a great song.
But man, the guitar riffage in that song and Ozzy coming in and then them computerizing the zombie stomp, you know, shit is cool, man. And I remember at the time listening to it in my car full blast, and all of a sudden, I remember the first time hearing it, he's like, hey, we're the zombie. I was like, whoa, yeah.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm going to throw up an unpopular opinion here. I think that after Ultimate Sin, the records became top heavy. Like the first half of No Rest for the Wicked, amazing. Second side, same thing with No More Tears. First side, unbelievable. Second side, like it just seemed like they cherry picked the best shit for the first half of the record, and it continued on throughout his career. And so
You're 1,000% wrong on No Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're wrong on that one too. There's only 6 songs on the album, isn't there?
There's 9 songs,
8.
but the better half is the back half.
Not even close. Fire in the Sky is great.
And
That's
Bloodbath
the one.
in Paradise, Demon
No.
Alcohol.
Oh
These
man,
are great
Bloodbath in
songs.
Paradise is amazing.
Nope,
These
not
are
a fan.
great songs, man.
Nah,
Fire in the
dude,
Sky is a great song. Fire in the
Well, Fire in the Sky again. That one I'll give you. That's the one I like. But I mean, dude, come on, fucking Miracle Man, Crazy Babies, like
That's the
breaking
first
half, dude.
Those are
Exactly,
great.
that's what I'm saying.
They're great.
The first half of the records are amazing, and the second half, it's like they knew which songs were the best,
No,
and they lumped them in the front half, and then just left the other shit for the end.
I like the fact that the back half is different, man. I think
I do too. And I'll take the riffing on Demon Alcohol over anything else on this record. Anything.
You are on fucking drugs.
No, man, that's tough. They're also good.
No, Miracle Man, dude. Miracle Man is one of the greatest
Miracle Man's great
metal
too.
riffs
Miracle Man is
ever.
just that riff in Miracle Man is just a ripoff of Jimi Hendrix.
Shut up, man.
It absolutely is. Look it up.
It is not.
Look it up. I saw Zach Wilde say that.
I don't care what he said. It's fucking legendary and it's awesome and it smokes.
He
demon
wrote
alcohol.
it. He would know who he stole it from.
I don't care where he stole it from. It's like 100 times better than Demon Alcohol.
No, it ain't.
Fuck you. No way.
Speaking of No Rest for the Wicked, I
was gonna say, what's your favorite?
I think I might have to put that in my top 2, man. Because when Zach, I love the fact that he had of the 3 main guitar players, right? That it's like they were all had their own unique style. Like Randy had that super classical metal style, you know. Jake had more of the going into the 80s kind of shredder thing. And then like I don't know how to describe this. Zach, like it's so fitting when you see Zach plays the dime bag parts now, right? Because when you go back and listen to No Rest for the Wicked, I hear Dimebag all over that shit. And I don't think those guys didn't know each other back then, right? This is before Pantera was anything, right? I mean, what year is that album? It's 89?
Yeah.
88? No Rest for the Wicked?
yeah.
Yeah. That's when Pantera's doing their quote glam or whatever they were, whatever they were before. It's like he brought kind of that squawky swamp boogie, flanged out, but just he could shred too. And there was like a bluesy metalness to it. Like he just brought that total edge and changed the way that Ozzy sang too. I think those songs the album is so completely night and day from Ultimate Sin, which is why I love it. If it could come out and sounded like Ultimate Sin, the guitar and everything, I think I would have been like, okay, this again. But man, Zach, he like took that in a whole another direction that I absolutely love. So
Sure.
I'll probably go Diary. And the problem with Diary is I had it on vinyl and I listened to it 8 million times, and same with Ultimate Sin. So sometimes you're like, oh, am I tired of it? And you're like, no, I mean, because it would be easy for me to say Ultimate Sin because that's probably the album I know front to back more than any other. But yeah, I probably still would have to put Diary just up there. And the last 5 years or so, man, No Rest of the Wicked, just I don't know. I just have a whole new appreciation for that album.
John just likes it because it has his theme song on it, Secret Loser.
Well, mine is The Secret.
Yeah.
It's kind of already out there, dude.
It's his secret. He doesn't know we all know.
Yeah. God, I hope they don't find out.
Oh my God. Look, man, I'm sorry. Like I the hooks are great. Like the guitar is just insane all over that album. I just think it's crazy underrated, man. The videos were kind of cool how they kind of tied together a little bit. You had that chick turning into the demon and all that, and she was in the first the Ultimate Sin video, then in Shot in the Dark, and I mean it was cool. It was really, really cool. I really dug it. But I mean, and it really, I mean, like people are saying in the chat, like Ozzy didn't put out a bad record. Like I would agree with that. Well, but what I was gonna say. Tim Morgan asks, no love for Blizzard. Tim, you know what I think for me, and I'm going to guess that Brian and Chris might agree with me on this. I think that one suffers from being overplayed. Like, I mean, you've heard, I don't know, Crazy Train, Mr. Crowley, so many fucking times that it's right. Suicide. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's, and I hate to say this, but for me, this is gonna be sacrilege. It's almost like Van Halen 1. I never listened to Van Halen 1 because if I hear You Really Got Me or Running with the Devil like one more time, I'm just gonna like, holy shit, man.
Goodbye to Romance, so fucking great song. Even like No Bone Movies, like I have no idea what that song is about, but I love.
Yes, you do. That song's about a town that doesn't have porn.
Oh,
that's what he's talking about. No Bone Movies.
One of those.
It's the only song in history that has the word flaps in it.
Nice.
It's so great. Yeah. But no, shout
out to Tim Morgan real quick. That's the guitar player. You met him, John. Guitar player from my band. Yep.
Great to see you, Tim. Thanks for tuning in, bro.
Yeah.
And Aiken, thanks for throwing the classic metal show on here. I appreciate that. I just looked to see our live count. I was like, wait, classic metal show. Oh, thanks, Chris. So but yeah, I mean, in terms of the comment of Ozzy never putting out a bad record, I would agree with that because I think even the bad records, there's still some songs that you're into. Like you can't go, oh, this entire record is shit. I mean, you can pretty much like almost any band that we love. You could pick out one album where you're like, this is pretty much all, but Ozzy really kind of doesn't have that. I would say there's.
What's your big favorite song? Yeah, what's your favorite song on Ordinary Man? Was it the Post Malone featured classic, or was it when Travis Scott jumped in for a little love? Ugh.
Yeah, I stand corrected. Never mind.
Somebody posted earlier that they love that album. Where was that?
Well, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Under the Graveyard was a decent.
Yeah, that's the one they mentioned. I actually like that song.
But there it is. Once the great Ozzy Osbourne starts doing duets with Elton John, just kill me.
Yeah, no, I don't need that.
Yeah, that's a bad album. I'm sorry, that album blows.
I forgot. I actually I stand corrected because I completely forgot about that record.
Ugh.
Well, the very last Sabbath album, 13, is an affront to society. I think it's absolutely horrible.
Yeah, Aiken,
Not great.
you've said, yeah, you said you're a huge Sabbath guy, but not much more so than an Ozzy guy. So I mean, what are your thoughts on 13? I thought it was cool, but I mean,
it was cool at the time, I guess. I'll take the Heaven and Hell record over it every day of the week.
Think?
Dude,
You know, I mean, that's a great record.
Dude, fucking Bible Black is like one of the greatest goddamn songs ever.
Oh yes.
That song rules.
That whole album is great. 13, I don't hate it per se, but it's sloppy Black Sabbath. You know, it's that whole, well, we almost gave you Black Sabbath, but we're going to get some other drummer in here and we're going to get a bunch of writers in here.
Well, you knew when that came out and you heard all the Rick Rubin interviews. Well, Black Sabbath, they're a blues band. They're not a blues. What the hell are you? Like Rick Rubin's one of those guys that tries to be smarter than everyone else in the room while he's sleeping on that mattress while they're coming up with the riffs and his eyes are closed.
Dude, yes,
he's got his cucumber water and his cucumbers in the eyelids going. Like what the? I mean, that album is unlistenable, dude. It's not like they're not a blues band; they're a hard rock metal band. Like, just get over it.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with JG3, even though he's taking a shot at me. I agree with him. Forbidden is a sloppy Black Sabbath album. It is garbage. Oof. That's a bad one. Tear as well. Tear as well. Another fucking garbage record.
Born Again is horrible.
Born Again would have been good if they didn't record it in somebody's trunk.
Don't know.
Sounds like it was recorded in the trunk of a car.
Yeah, but you can't improve horrible songs with good production. You can try.
I don't know. There's a guy out there that re-recorded the entire Saint Anger record with good production and made it tight and to a click, and it actually is borderline tolerable. So that
there's a ringing endorsement. Borderline tolerable.
I mean,
great. I'm gonna run right out and give that guy my money.
An example, you know.
Yeah. Based on that, I'm gonna go buy that immediately.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
This has moments that possibly don't suck. It's great.
What an improvement.
Yeah, I don't like. So I know, Aiken, you and I were texting back and forth. We were watching Back to the Beginning live until I got dragged out to a family thing that I didn't know I was supposed to go to. And Brian, I mean, how much of that have you seen?
Exactly 0. So I do need to now. I really want to watch it.
Okay. Well, I'll have to shoot the file over to you. So
I got the file. I just haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, going back to something we had talked about earlier. I mean, it even if they didn't drag him out of hospice to throw him up on stage and they went back into hospice, dude. And everybody has said this, and I think they're right. And granted, he only had to do like 10 songs or something, but Ozzy sounded good.
He sounded pretty good.
I mean, yeah, I mean, even for him, I get it. They're tuned to Q and all this kind of stuff, and dude, he sounded good.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, it was crazy. It was really, really impressive. And
I like this co-host better than the other one. Looks like Ozzy's with us.
It does. The show, fuck man, dude, song. I love you all.
Are y'all gonna get crazy with us on this podcast?
You're not going crazy enough.
Louder.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like you said, though, he got to watch his own, eulogy or whatever, funeral, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really true. But I mean, dude, the show was great. Like, it was the guy, even to the end. Like, I mean, even if you hate Ozzy, you have to say, even till the very goddamn end, that guy fucking brought it. I mean, and I know you hate guys sitting in chairs. Like you are a huge detractor.
I
You
don't
can't
like
stand
that,
it.
but
I mean, he had no choice. But dude, even sitting there, like he wasn't just singing. He was looking around, waving his. He was trying to work the
yeah, he
crowd.
was.
Like
I said on the CMS right after it happened, because we did the CMS the same night that it happened, that the show was, and I actually said that was tolerable because there's no other way, and it isn't like they paraded him out there in a poor way like Phil Collins. When they brought Phil Collins out and stuffed him in an office chair, it was like, what the hell is this? Give the man a little respect. They literally found a chair in the back office and jammed Phil Collins into it. And
right.
at least with Ozzy, they gave him a big chair. We all knew he couldn't stand up. So I was actually okay with it because he said, now, if he would have sucked, if he'd have been in that chair going, crazy, that's how it goes.
Pulling the Don Dokken, like you said.
Yes, I would have been furious. But, oh no, get out of that chair. What are you doing?
Hey,
you're blocking Ozzy.
You're blocking our co-host. Get the hell out of the chair, man. Get out of that chair.
You're blocking
our co-host. Oh my God. No, yeah. I'm with you, man. Like it was, and dude, I like full disclosure. I mean, I paid the $30 for the concert. Number one, I wanted to see it, but I would be lying if I didn't be honest about the fact that I wanted to see if Ozzy was going to be god awful.
Right.
It was like, okay, I can tune into a car crash live. And I didn't get that. I mean, well, I got a car crash from some people on that show, but it was not from Ozzy.
But it was from a singer that you like.
Yeah.
Welcome to the car crash.
Oh,
flying high again. Yeah. Rock Candy. Flying high again.
Sammy did fine. I thought you were talking about Axl Rose. Jesus. He did not suck. He wasn't that bad.
Sammy was god awful doing Flying High Again. He didn't know the words.
Dude, he doesn't, dude. Okay. As much as this pains me to say, I don't even know why the fuck Sammy was there.
I agree with that fully.
When he was announced, I was like, why?
The only thing I could think of is that maybe Montrose did a show with Sabbath in the day. But I don't know. Sammy should have stayed home because he was way out of his element, and not knowing the song is unforgivable.
You know what words he would have done if they Secret Loser. He would have known the words to that one.
Fucker.
I was just thinking how dumb that chorus is, even though it's a good song.
I think, honestly, there were sound problems on stage that night because I was actually watching some videos last night of a couple of the other performances, and several people, you could tell like they came in to choruses at the wrong spot or verses, and you could see them looking around. Like, so I think something was fucked up on stage. I don't give them. Well, no, but I mean, Brian, I mean, sorry, Aiken, I can actually post up on you on this one. I mean, Brian, as a musician, if something's fucked up with the sound on stage and you can't hear anything, like you are kind of guessing, especially in a venue that size. Oh, if the sound is bad or there's echo and everything like banging around, like you're really hearing kickback off of the walls and shit. Like, yeah. I mean, it had to be something because there were just too many of those guys that made mistakes that you wouldn't normally make.
Well, you always wonder when you're trying to do that kind of an undertaking that many different people are coming up and using that many different rigs, and it's like, okay, and making sure that the mix is dialed in the way they want it and blah, blah, blah. So having not heard the show, it's hard to comment a whole lot, but yeah, that can. Well, and plus, how many of these guys picked half of these songs I never even heard of before, these super deep cuts off of like Technical Ecstasy and stuff, and like stuff that probably Aiken knows every single one of them, but there was a lot of stuff where I was like, I never even heard of this damn song. Didn't Metallica pick some weird
Johnny Blade? And,
dude, I never heard that song my entire life, because I always thought Technical Ecstasy was freaking hot garbage, so it was like
yeah. I was kind of surprised Metallica didn't do one of the ones they did on that second Garage Days album. Like I think they did it was Sabra Cadabra. I thought they were, do something they'd already recorded and released, which, Sabra Cadabra isn't like, way up there on the hit list of Black Sabbath. I mean, people know it, but I mean, that would have been a perfect choice, I thought, because they'd already done it. people
And they
kind
took
of
a
know
swing
it.
and a miss with Hole in the Sky.
Oh, dude,
Oh, really?
I was shocked Pantera didn't pull that one out.
See, I have a thought that Metallica called it. Why else would Pantera not do it?
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
I mean, Pantera recorded it, for God's sakes. You would think that they would have
and
done
they did
it.
a fucking great job too.
They did, yeah.
They were overridden by the elf in Metallica, right?
Overridden by the one that's going to sell tickets.
Yeah. So Zachary Nathanson, it says Sabbath. Thanks for tuning in, dude. It says Sabbath story. My introduction to Black Sabbath was back in '96 when I bought the soundtrack to the 1981 cult classic Heavy Metal, hearing The Mob Rules. I was 11. Dio was first. Ozzy was second.
That's the same way I came in, pretty much. I came in on Heaven and Hell. That was like my gateway album to heavy metal. Back before that, I was listening to Prince, Madonna, and the Romantics. Right. And then my cousin gave me Heaven and Hell because my cousin was a Kiss fan. He didn't like it. He bought it and hated it. This isn't Kiss. I was like, well, here, I'll take it. He played a little for me, and I was like, holy shit, this is
that's really like being a Cavs fan the year LeBron wins it all. Like, there's nowhere to go but down, dude. I mean, you literally start on probably I don't know. Is it safe to say maybe the top 2 or 3 greatest heavy metal album of all time? That's where you start.
Yeah, it's up.
Yeah,
there.
And then it's like, well, is it going to get better? No, it might still be good, but there's no freaking way it's going to get better.
It's probably why I'm always still looking for another good record because I haven't found one yet.
To have that be your starting point. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was my
it's funny, man. You say that's your gateway to metal. Like Ultimate Sin was kind of mine because up until that point, I was listening to Van Halen and Sammy Hagar, Motley Crue, Scorpions. And Ozzy was like, especially, it kicks in with Ultimate Sin and like, I'm like, oh, okay. And from there, I was like, oh, there's heavier shit out there. Okay. And then 2 years later, I saw the one video and, and I got Injustice for All and fucking all bets were off, So
what was your gateway out of metal? Was it Wolfie?
Oh, shut up, man. I still listen to metal, and you goddamn well know it. Be quiet.
Galactic Empire.
Hey, Galactic Empire is awesome, man. Shut up. The Galactic Empire is going to be playing in Cleveland a week from tomorrow.
Can't wait.
Max Sabbath. Are they opening for Max Sabbath?
I saw Max Sabbath, and they are amazing. Max Sabbath is amazing.
Combines John's 2 favorite things: burgers.
No, he wants to see Mac Halen.
There you go.
That's what John's looking for. Mac Halen.
Sausage theater. Italian sauce. It's hot Italian sausage theater.
Running with a Whopper.
I fucking hate you guys, man.
Look, how is it that I can get away with telling fat jokes? I'm the biggest fat fuck here, and I'm telling fat jokes about John.
And you know what? Okay. So you guys are making fun of me and everything. Boy, is this going to make me sound fatter than you would think I am. I'm actually in the 240s. I've been steadily losing weight. I'm doing it finally for real. I'm in the 240s, legitimately, not alcohol dehydration or some crash diet, but legitimately in the 240s for the first time in over 2 years. So go me and go fuck yourself for the.
Can I?
And by the way, Chris,
can I tell the Biggest Loser story from work again?
Please. Oh God.
John was in the team Biggest Loser competition at our old work. He was the only person that gained weight. I had to lose like an extra 7 pounds to come up with the 9 that he put on to cancel that. I think we still ended up winning, didn't we? Because me and somebody else lost like a combined like 30 pounds, but John put on like 8, so it was close.
John was in the cheesecake division.
We were the only team that literally won with a guy still gained. I mean, it wasn't 7 pounds, but it was like 4. And he's like, how the fuck am I still gaining pounds? I didn't eat anything all week. And I'm like, yeah, well, how many cases of beer and whatever alcohol did you consume? Well, but that's empty calories.
Oh my God. I wish I could say that wasn't true, but yeah, it's it's very true, man.
Hilarious.
Holy shit. Oh my God. All right. So Ozzy, anyway, Ozzy died. Sadness, tears, no more tears. Oh my God. Yeah.
AG3.
Change 3. Women in Love with Big Macs. Circle J with the burger emojis. Oh my God. You can tell we're in mourning.
Yeah, we really are.
Holy shit, man. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so anyway, it's crazy because it's like, when famous musicians, when they die, people say, "Oh, what do you think their legacy is going to be?" I mean, I think that's the one question that you don't have to ask about Ozzy because you already know. I mean, there's no question. It's not like, oh, well, will he be remembered for this or will he be remembered for this? Like, no. I mean, he's Ozzy. He's going to be remembered for fucking everything and for just having the longest career. Like, the guy was a cockroach. Like, if anybody should have died when they were like fucking 25 years old, it would have been him. But yet here he was, like, closer to 80 than he was to 70. And I mean, god damn. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And again, like I said earlier, like the more you talk about it, the more you realize what he did. I mean, I mean, the guy's the blueprint. I mean, he's and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the guy really was the first true rock star, I think. Like as we wait a minute. As we define rock stars, hammered all the time, doing drugs, destroying things, just being a complete animal. That's what we think of. And yeah, you can go back to, the Rolling Stones or Zeppelin or something.
Jim Morrison.
Okay, but dude, not on the Ozzy level, I don't think. Ozzy
On the Ozzy level of what? Bigness?
Dude,
or influence?
I'll phrase it this way.
Elvis was kind of big. I mean, just a tad.
Okay, but let me explain.
Beatles sold a couple records.
Okay, I understand that, but okay, let me explain it this way. Whenever we've had the argument about what's the best Metallica record, and I say "And Justice for All," my argument is that every single adjective that people use, every Metallica fan uses to describe Metallica, all of those adjectives describe "And Justice for All" better than any of their other albums. And I think when we think of rock stars, every type of behavior and all that insanity, that's Ozzy. The other guys you're mentioning, yeah, they may have been bigger, they were before him, but Ozzy was the total package.
Well, you said the first. You said the first.
Because I think on that level, I think so. At least in terms of how we define a rock star and what you imagine a rock guy to be.
He's not the first. First of all, Mick Jagger would be up in front of him on every level, except you don't know the music in that time frame, because in the 60s, Mick Jagger was absolutely on the same level. He really was. And the only reason he's not now is because he's 900 years old. He's not tearing down hotel rooms anymore. But he's the blueprint for Ozzy to do that.
Brian, what do you think? I'm going to disagree, man.
I understand I think I get what you're saying in terms of just the completely, okay, I'm taking what some of these guys did and I'm going to a whole just different level of just completely insane. But the early days of Sabbath, they could barely get arrested by the mainstream, right? Nobody knew who the hell they were. I mean, it wasn't until the mid 70s really that everyone's like, oh my God, these are all amazing. And they started influencing all the other bands and stuff. But, I mean, I guess they were still big in their own, genre and eras they were in. But I get what John's saying though.
The thing about that era is there wasn't a scene. That's the difference. They were out there playing. Well, who the hell are they going to play with? Herman and the Hermits? I mean, I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to go out there with a big tour with, I don't know, Joan Baez and Janis Joplin? Or, there really wasn't a scene for Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath invented that. Everybody else wanted to be them after the fact.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's probably why they weren't on the radio. First of all, as far as the radio goes, their first songs were all 7 and 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
War Pigs, Black Sabbath, whatever. Those are all long songs. That was in a time when radio was you had to fight to get a song on if it was over 3 minutes. If you think back to even like the Beatles and stuff, which was just before that, what are all those hits? Love, Love Me Do, and She Loves You, Yeah, Yeah. Those are all like 1.5 minute, 2 minute songs. And here comes Black Sabbath with 10 minute, 14 minute. There was no getting that on the radio. No way.
But by the way, I'm glad you brought that up. Again, this is going to be a horrific opinion that pretty much everyone's going to disagree with me on. I get it that it was like the first song and no one had ever heard anything like it. And it was ungodly, like doom and gloom. But the song Black Sabbath.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah.
You are an idiot.
It just drags. I'm like,
No.
can we get to the fucking point?
No way.
It's just me, dude. It's just me.
This coming from the guy that likes a 23-minute Octavarium song. Shut up.
Well, yeah, it does different shit. It doesn't go, bam. Give me a minute. I'll hit the next note. Bam. Bam. For fucking 7 minutes. It's like, God damn it. Get to
Yes,
the
it's
point.
great.
No.
You're flat on that other note, by the way, John. It's
I knew I'd get killed, man. Johan Alexanderson says kick him off. Kale McLeish, John, shut up.
Yeah.
JG3, whoa.
Yeah,
Jackal,
it's a terrible take.
Jackal One says everybody has their opinion.
And his is wrong.
I
That
think
is a terrible take.
Kerry King would have never wrote a single song without a single riff without that song, considering every damn Slayer song comes from that.
Okay, I get it, but JG3
that
says we
collection
got
of
people
riffs.
shitting on Octavarium and Black Sabbath. Red alert! Look, I know it's unpopular. I'm not a fan. But here's the thing. Opinions are like assholes, except he just farted.
I think it's more of a
look,
shart in this case.
Yeah. Well, look,
It's
again,
messy and gooey.
now remember, I did not say that I don't understand why it's so influential, why people love it. Like, I totally understand why it's so influential. I totally understand why people love it. It's just not for me. I would pick tons of other Sabbath songs ahead of that. So, and by the way, Kale brings up a good point. Talking about Ozzy as the first rock star. He says, like, seriously, Ozzy is Ozzy. He didn't invent the lifestyle, but he characterized it. So I think that's kind of where I was going. I think Kale phrased it perfectly. So thank you, Kale, for covering my ass. He really kind of defined what we know as the rock star. I mean, and you bring up Mick Jagger as like that was his kind of blueprint, Aiken. But I mean, even back in the 80s and stuff like that, when the Stones were still, in their 70s, he nothing from Brian. Brian's paying no attention.
He's in his 70s. He didn't hear it.
Exactly. What is she?
Sorry, I'm waiting for the next.
Like, I mean, you didn't hear, oh, Mick Jagger is this animal. Like you never heard the stuff about him that you heard about Ozzy, and heard about Ozzy consistently. I mean, it's like, and when you think about all the bad behavior that we've come to associate with rock stars, that Ozzy was the first one people talked about because he did every bit of it. Going in the hotel hallway and shitting in someone's shoes. Like you mentioned earlier, Aiken, and pissing on the Alamo, for Christ's sakes. Like,
yeah, he did
what I mean?
crazy stuff. But so did you just don't know the history enough. The Stones got arrested on, coming through airports with drugs, and they had sex scandals in the 60s and everything else.
Well, and I know that, but I think, I will counter your argument by saying, because I don't know all the details, and you know me, I don't know a lot, but I at least I'm on the periphery.
Yes,
of a
I
lot
know
of stuff,
that
so
part
I'm
about you.
asshole. Like, but I am aware of music and its history and the bands and all this kind of stuff. So if someone is that big, you would hear the stories and kind of go, oh yeah, because I mean, there's people that don't know shit about Ozzy, but they're like, oh, that guy's crazy, you know. But people were not saying back in the 80s, oh, that Mick Jagger, like, you know, and I haven't heard all that crazy shit. So that's what I'm trying to get at is that like Ozzy kind of is the definition, the blueprint for a quote unquote rock star. You know, that's, you know, well, you may disagree, which I know you do, but
I do.
that's kind of how I see it. So,
Well, I
you
think
know.
earlier when you were talking about no one else has been in a band as influential and as big as Sabbath and gone on to still have their own entire entity that almost dwarfs Sabbath, which sounds almost sacrilege, but his personality and his influence has. So in that sense, I can kind of see the first like complete, you know, because no one cared who the hell Elvis's band was, right?
No one knows any of the names.
Yeah, no one gave a crap about Mick Jagger's solo career, you know, when he did his solo albums, right?
Wait
no
a
one
minute,
gave
Just Another Night with You. That was
yeah. I mean, as big as Sammy Hagar was, Montrose, you know, couldn't carry the, you know, the luggage for Sabbath, you know. I mean, you know, and Sammy, as big as he is nowhere near. And we've all named 5 examples of why Ozzy, you know, influenced and changed. So there is I'm starting to buy more into what John's, I think the way he's trying to say. I don't know if I know exactly what he's trying to conceptualize here, which is a rarity because it is John.
I'm trying to get the point across, man. I'm trying. Yeah, I just think that, you know, he was a first in so many different ways, and you know, and again, I think it is incredibly telling, like we talked about earlier, that the guy never changed. You know, it's kind of, you always see like our favorite bands, like sometimes, you know, kind of changing with the times, you know, a little bit here and there. I mean, fucking Metallica. I mean, they went the load reload route. You know, Queensryche, they did, you know, Here in the Now Frontier, which was terrible. And, you know, you have all these examples, and, you know, and thank God there's bands like, you know, Pantera, unfortunately only 5 records, but, you know, they never, you know, bowed down to anything. And Ozzy he just, you know, like you guys said, in the early 90s when, you know, Brian, what are you doing? You know, in the early 90s, he didn't just stop doing Ozzy music because the times were changing. It was the same. It was one of those things like it's comforting to know that. It's like, you know, I'm not an AC/DC fan. Like, they're cool, whatever. But I mean, it's awesome to know, I'm sure for AC/DC fans, when you go get a goddamn AC/DC record, you know you're getting an AC/DC record. You know, it's, you know, Dream Theater, you know, we're here, you know, on the Dream Theater podcast. Like when we buy a Dream Theater record, we know we're getting a Dream Theater record. You're not going to get Load or Reload or Lulu. You're not going to get Here in the Now Frontier. You know, it's, you know, even Anthrax for a quick second, you know, had kind of a little bit of a left turn with Stomp and Volume 8. You know, it was a little different kind of thing for them.
And the other one too, the one behind it too, was kind of a rock record. We've Come for You All.
Yeah, true. But Ozzy was he just was. And the guy, like, it's cool because, like, I mean, and Aiken, I know you especially appreciate this. The guy had his fucking principles and he never bent them.
I love that. I love that about Ozzy.
And that's why go ahead. Sorry.
There's 2. I do love that part about him. And here's the other part. And to back this, John and I, during the concert, the Back to the Beginning concert, were texting each other as bands were playing. And what was a standout text to me, and it makes it, now that Ozzy's passed, it stands out even more to me, was, I don't remember if John said it to me or I said it to John or what, but we were commenting on how no matter who the band was, it didn't matter what they sounded like playing those Sabbath and Ozzy tunes. they all sounded good, which was a testament to how great those tunes were. That
100%.
Mastodon and Anthrax and Lizzie Hale and Lamb of God, 4 very different artists, and Youngblood, a rapper for God's sakes, could all take that stage and have totally different sound, and still the songs killed. And it was a testament to how great those songs were. It's not a testament to how these bands performed them. It's a testament to these songs were so great they can almost not be fucked up. That's a big statement for any band, let alone Ozzy, 2 bands, Ozzy and Sabbath.
Well, and like I said earlier, Brian, I know you can comment on this again, like, pulling the musician card on you can hear, but I mean, Ozzy as a singer, he had a big hand in that with his solo career. It wasn't just he hires the guitar players and leaves the room and the musicians write the songs and he comes back. Like, no, he had input on that shit. I mean, so he knew what he was doing, putting a song together and putting a hook together and all that kind of stuff. And it's, I kind of liken it to Kiss because people shit on Kiss all the time, regardless of the era. They're like, oh, it's so simplistic. It's bubblegum. It's this, that, and the other. But it is unbelievably difficult to write a giant hook. And Kiss did it for 50 years. Ozzy did the same thing. And to your point, Chris, and Brian as well, it was like in 2 different styles in a way. Like Ozzy's solo career was definitely metal, but it was a little more rock. Sabbath was heavy and doom and sludgy, and the guy just knew how to fucking write a hook that stuck to the roof of your mouth like fucking peanut butter. And that is so unbelievably impressive. I mean, and dude, I know we brought up Ordinary Man, and JG3 loves it. Aiken, you hated it. I know I listened to it. I was like, ugh. But there are still, even if you don't like the songs, like you can listen, you can hear where there are hooks on that damn record. Mm-hmm. There are some memorable things to sing along to. And I mean, that is just incredible to be able to do that all the time. And like I said, Brian, I mean, you can comment on this because you've written songs and, you come at it from a musician perspective as well.
Well, I'm not really a writer per se, but I do love analyzing music. I my one regret, and I wonder if you got Ozzy, Truth Serum, when he was completely in his right mind. And like Aiken was saying, the last couple albums, like I didn't like the fact he kind of went out like that. You know what I mean? Like get Zach in there with you. Let's write a whole thing together. Let's bring back the old day, and I know it's always hard to bring back the old days. We just talked about 13 and what a train wreck that was, but I kind of think like Chris was saying, like he shouldn't be doing something with Elton John, like in the last few years, it kind of turned into sort of like the Grandpa Ozzy we joked about. And it's like, I don't want to hear that. I wish he had sort of just not done those or come back with one last, like, man, this is just a banger of a metal album. This is what we know Ozzy to be. And I think that would be the one thing. And I guess we blame Sharon, right, for any of that, right? Because it's a cash cow machine and it's got to get stuff out there. And I have a hard time believing that he was fully invested to this last 2, 3,
they were
4
written,
albums. I don't know.
No, the last 2 were the ones, Patient Number 9 and Ordinary Man. Those are terrible. But I'll go to bat that there's at least a couple good songs on everything in the 2000s era.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just talking about these last few. Like why go out like that? I don't know.
Believe it or not, Scream before Ordinary Man was 2010. There was a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There was but Scream that Let Me Hear You Scream was okay. What was the hit on Black Rain? Was that
yeah.
I Don't Want to Stop.
I Don't Want to Stop. I love that song.
I like that song. That's a pretty
Black Rain's good, the title.
Facing Hell from Down to Earth, great tune.
Dude, okay, I am fucking giving you a double high five through the screen for that. No one ever talks about that song. That song fucking rips. That is oh my god, and that is such a kick-ass riff because it's heavy and all that shit, but it also, the tail of it goes in a direction you don't expect, and it's like the very first time I heard that song I was like, holy shit. And
then the rest of the record drifts in and you're like, what happened.
Yeah,
When it gets
well,
into
well, like I said, like
Get Me Through and Dreamer and stuff like that, you're like, what happened, Oz? Go back to facing hell.
I mean, it was a
Right.
healthy Ozzy like 2 steps away from a bloated Elvis Vegas residency that Sharon would have shoved him into. I mean, I don't know. That's what I think of with those last 2 albums is this bloated 70s Elvis. And it's like, I don't know, man.
I don't think
what is
so.
the point?
I honestly think those are records Ozzy wanted to do, especially the Elton John thing. I mean, he was on record for a long time celebrating his love for Elton John. And even at the last concert 2 weeks ago, who's he kissing the ring to but Youngblood, a rapper? And on the last record, you had Travis Scott, you had Post Malone. I think he had kind of drifted away from metal a little bit in these last few years. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But I don't think, believe me, I'd love to throw Sharon under every bus just for the way she treated Iron Maiden. But I don't think you can blame her for that. I think that's Ozzy wanted to do it. Of course, Andrew Watt comes in there with his garbage playing and does mediocre work on 2 records. But
Yeah,
it's like, I don't, whatever. You know what? And this is kind of the reality to it. 3 years from now, none of us 3 are going to remember those last 2 records anyway, because we're never going to listen to them again. We're only going to listen to Diary of a Madman. We're only going to listen to, Ultimate Sin, No More Tears, Blizzard. That's all we're going to listen to.
Well, and I think that's another feather in his cap is that most of the catalog is so good that he's forgiven for the turds. I mean, most of the bands that we like, we do talk about, again, bringing up Metallica, like people are, their legacy is a little bit tainted for some people because of the fact that you have Load, Reload, and Stanger in there, Megadeth has Risk and, World Needs a Hero and stuff like that. It's like, I mean, and you guys even in the Black Sabbath thing. I mean, Black Sabbath is legendary, but I would venture to say that if you counted up the number of Black Sabbath albums, you guys probably only think 60% of them are good. I mean, you bring up Technical Ecstasy, Born Again, whatever. Like, I mean, there are some real turds in that catalog. Ozzy,
there are.
I mean, his stuff was so consistent. And his good records were so fucking good that people just are going to overlook the last couple just that are just like, and let's be honest, the 2000 stuff really blends together. I couldn't tell you the difference between Osmosis and, was it Down to Earth? I think it's called.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 2 or 3 records that just blend together. I'm like, okay, well, they're Ozzy records. I know a few songs like Perry Mason and Facing Hell.
That and add Black Rain to that as well, because that was that whole Kevin Churko era of production, which all sounded electronic and shitty.
Yeah. Well, and he did have, and he had those records. I'm glad you brought that up. The production was almost overproduced. It sounded too gritty. It sounded too keyboardy. Like it was like kind of like muddy. Like, I don't know. And I mean, personal opinion. I think that those records might have stood out a little more with better, like more simplified, straight ahead rock production instead of all the overdone shit that we're on. But I mean, yeah, I mean, dude, his great stuff was great for so long that no one's going to remember those records. And as much as this is going to shock you, bringing up Van Halen, I mean, people, the debate is always Dave versus Sammy, and Van Halen 3 is such a wart on their catalog that no one, I mean, the only time it comes up is, that record. And then people move on because the rest of the stuff was so solid, the other 11 records, that it's like, and Ozzy kind of has the same thing.
Here he goes. He's pumping up different kind of truth again. Shut up, Brian. You can see it coming like 3 miles away. You can see it just starting to set it up. I'm going to sneak in there. How great the last deal.
Do you want to pull that left-handed guitar back up, John?
I do. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Woo.
So
Have you
that's a
got the
fully,
bicep-
totally functioning guitar. It's not like just like a toy.
100%, and it's all the Van Halen
Nice.
parts too. The body and the neck are both from Boogie Body, which is where Eddie got his first parts. All of the hardware and everything are the EVH brand. It's a actual licensed left-handed Floyd Rose, and I bought a shitty pickup that looks like Ed's. I put like little wires in there, kind of make it look like the Frankenstrap, but I love 5150, so I put the 5150 on there, and it's the reverse banana neck. So it's basically a homemade combination of the Frankenstrat and the 5150. So yeah, that's
awesome.
yeah.
So how much work did your buddy do compared to you on that then? What all were you involved with it?
I did the painting myself.
Okay.
I put the dummy pickup and the goofy looking wires in, and that was it. I bought the parts. I screwed in the eyelets for the strap because I did the Eddie Van Halen the clip thing.
He did all the frets and everything, or
oh yeah, he did everything. I mean, he's a Luther. He's actually, shout out to him. His name is Curran Murphy. He's actually the guitar player in Venom. So
nice.
so it took a while because I told him I was in no rush, but yeah, this has been like 15 years in the making, dude. That's literally like my dream guitar, and I fucking finally have it. But yeah, I mean, back to the original point, like, Ozzy's stuff is so solid that, like, to your point, Chris, like, Kale, didn't know you were a lefty though. Oh yeah, very much a lefty. I mean, to your point, Aiken, yeah, I don't think people remember those records now. Ordinary Man and Patient Number 9. I think they're complete afterthoughts. They're just like, because people are worried about his health, they want to go see him live, this, that, and the other. Like I mean, even when those records came out, like, I mean, I don't think people were like, oh fuck yeah, man, fuck yeah, like, oh, this is great. Like, man, JG3, look at, man. So I have my bad opinion about the song Black Sabbath, and apparently he's got his about Patient Number 9 and Ordinary Man. He says, I really think you're being harsh about Patient Number 9 and Ordinary Man. I would urge anyone who hasn't heard them to listen and come to your own conclusions. Well, Jay, look, I completely agree with you on that. I don't think fucking anyone should take my musical opinions very seriously, considering it's not a joke that I like Dream Theater and Van Halen and then some other bands and not a lot else. Like, I would love to say that I'm musically open-minded, but I'd be lying. Like that would be the biggest lie you've ever heard come out of my goddamn mouth, and Aiken and Brian both can testify to that.
Well, I'm right about everything I say musically, and those two records stink. Save yourself an hour and 45 minutes. Don't listen to JG3. Don't do it. Don't do it. Save yourself almost 2 hours. I'd rather see you go watch the new awful Jurassic Park movie. It's better than those two albums.
Oh God, shut up. That movie's fun. But
sucks.
No, does not. All right, so we've been at it for an hour and a half, so why don't we get some final thoughts in here? So I guess, yeah, just final thoughts, man. Shoot from the hip, Brian. I'll start with you. Like, thoughts about Ozzy, memories about Ozzy, like how, just talk about Ozzy for a minute. Like, what's Ozzy's gone. What's your,
Was it you or Aiken who said there's never going to be like, well, what's his legacy going to be? Because it's he's had a legacy, right? It's there. It's always around us. It's never going to go away. I don't know. I just don't think we're ever going to see a force musically that created something so big. And the hilarious part is it's such a small microcosm of time, right? It's like this 30, 40-year window that, from all intents and purposes, from what I can see, where music is headed, where AI, where the world's headed, in 10 years, that door is going to be slammed shut. And I don't see very many people coming through it, to be not to be Debbie Downer here. But he seriously, he created something so massive and was such an influential figure on this thing. And we're headed completely the wrong opposite direction of everything he stood for and everything Sabbath stood for and everything all the guys he brought up, like Jake and rest in peace Randy, but the guys that got a chance to audition, like George and obviously Zach, and guys from Alice in Chains play, like Mike Inez, all these great musicians, all these other great bands. None of those would be here. Iron Maiden, I was trying to think of the older bands that they're, it's about a 10-year difference or whatever. I don't think Iron Maiden exists without, Black Sabbath, right? I mean, Priest was
Judas
around.
Priest, yeah.
Well, they were kind of around almost. They started about the same time, so I don't know about that, but I would say for sure Maiden. But with the whole new wave of British heavy metal, Saxon, all those bands, right? All the bands that Lars supposedly worshipped, which in turn created Metallica. So yeah, I'm not sad at all. I don't know. I guess because you're always kind of like, it's going to happen. But then once again, here, Keith Richards, he's still alive in that drug, alcohol infused game of chicken. Keith Richards somehow wins every time. Like he's still
drug and alcohol fueled game of chicken. Nice.
Yeah, there's just still floating around out there. Like Keith Richards made it, man. I don't know. He just like,
that's awesome.
I got Ozzy now. I don't know who else there is for him to beat at this point, man. I can't think of anybody. But yeah, man, I just want to say thanks to Ozzy. I mean, I big part in me probably becoming, into the music I was that first time hearing Flying High Again. I was just like, wow, what the hell is this? I never heard anything like this on guitar. And that's as much Randy, but Randy wouldn't have been in there if it wasn't for Ozzy, and if it wasn't for Sabbath and Ozzy in the first place, and the first Blizzard of Oz album and all that. I guess what else can you say other than, just a hell of a performer, a legend, never forgotten ever. I mean, in some ways, I almost wonder if John's understating what he was saying about the rock star thing. I mean, it's not rock star, it's a legend. It's bigger than legend even, and you can talk about other people that maybe were technically better or more gifted as an artist or whatever. But as far as a pure musical influence on music and like Aiken pointed out, reality TV, I mean, there's just, you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody who has that kind of an impact.
Agree.
Aiken, Ozzy.
Again, like Brian said, I think you start with thank you. I live my life where I hear heavy metal every single day, every day. Have damn near every single day of my adult life and most of my childhood life. So for me, I'll be 57. I've probably spent 50 of those years listening to hard rock and heavy metal. And that's all because of this guy right here. Whether it was Black Sabbath, whether it was Ozzy. And I mean, you can go down the list of things. Everybody, even if you don't listen to this music, has been influenced by Ozzy Osbourne. Anybody likes football, if you've ever been to a live football game, you have heard Crazy Train 3 times a game. If you've ever gone to a soccer game in England, they play Crazy Train. If you go to sporting events, if you go to movies, Ozzy's been in how many movies did he do? He was in WWE wrestling, for God's sakes. He's a wrestling Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken. He's in there. So, I mean, on every level, this guy impacted maybe more people than anybody else not named Jesus. And I know that's a huge statement, right. But think about it. In today's world, who doesn't know of Ozzy? My mom texted me to tell me Ozzy died. My mom is 77. And she was.
My mom will be 83. My mom will be 83 in November, and she called me about it. Yep,
that's what I mean. I mean, Ozzy touched. He didn't just touch metalheads. I think that's what people like to kind of narrow it down to, as he's just that heavy metal guy. He was the biggest personality in our lifetime. And I feel comfortable saying that, and he had missteps like everybody else, but I think his missteps actually made him bigger, made him better. The fact that he was a junkie idiot made him better because he got kicked out of Blacks. Who gets kicked out of a band that does drugs all day long for doing too many drugs?
Right.
And what did he do? He never gave a damn and pushed right through it and came to another level. Yep. I mean, how many people in the 80s picked up a guitar because of two guys, Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads?
Yep.
Pretty much every guitar player we know picked up a guitar player because of one of those two guys. And one of those two guys came from the Ozzy Osbourne camp. I'm quite sure there's a lot of people playing guitar because of Zakk Wylde. I'm quite sure there's a lot of people picked up a guitar because of Jakey Lee, picked up a drum kit because of Bill Ward, or a guitar because of Iommi. And these guys influenced everything. And every day for the rest of my life, I'm hopeful, will be filled with something that came from the Ozzy tree, whether it's Kill Switch Engage or Dream Theater or Black Sabbath. It's a big praise, but I think it's an appropriate praise. And that's all.
No, 100%, dude. Yeah, I definitely can't top what you guys said. For me, I think it's a little bit smaller and more personal, but Ozzy, for me, again, Ultimate Sin was my gateway into heavier music. And, specifically, when I started singing in 1995, there was, it was always like Sammy Hagar and James LaBrie and Ozzy Osbourne. And I, was, go ahead and you can insert your joke here after I say this, not a great singer. And, but I worked my ass off. I see your face aching. I love it. Try not to bust balls. But I mean, something not a lot of people know is that I literally worked so hard to try to become a good singer between the first 2 Gatlin records that I literally was coughing blood at times. Like, I blew my voice out so bad that I was coughing blood. I would sing so much and
did you say you
hit
blew
notes
a
I couldn't hit. And Jesus Christ.
So you used to sound, you sounded worse than this before. Is that what you're saying?
Why am I not using the dump button? But yeah, like, I mean, I literally was like hacking up blood. Like, I beat my voice to shit so bad trying to get better that I was bleeding from the throat. And a lot of it, I did a shitload of practicing to Ozzy, and specifically the Ultimate Sin record, because there's some crazy high notes on there. And I remember thinking, I'll never be able to hit all these, but it's great to practice to. And man, it was years, but I finally got through the entire record front to back with hitting all the notes. And it was a huge accomplishment for me. And, so for me, Ozzy is an incredible influence because, it was a bar. Like, he set the bar for me to, it was something to aspire to. And
Lord knows John likes the bar.
See, Jesus Christ. We were going to end on such a good note, and then you guys are dicks, but
no, we weren't. You've heard this show before, haven't you? What if we ended on a good note ever?
I was trying, man. We are going to end a good note because I do have a product I need to hawk before we get out of here. So stick around, Kale. But yeah, I mean, Ozzy for me was like just an enormous vocal influence, but also, like, again, like I said earlier, like, I knew that I could put on an Ozzy record, and even if I didn't like 75% of an album, the 25% I liked, I loved. And so, especially, like I said, Ultimate Sin, Diary of a Madman, like Aiken, like you said, is a perfect record. Blizzard is fantastic. The Zakk records are awesome. And again, like, I'm one of those guys that, like, credibility goes a long way with me in the musicians that I'm a fan of. And it's interesting because I read Ozzy's biography, and it kind of changed my opinion on him to where, he's kind of a dick. There's some stuff in there that he said that really didn't sit well with me. There's some, like, animal abuse shit in there that, and I'm not talking about the dove or the bat, animal abuse shit in there that I was just not a fan of. But hearing what everybody has said, I kind of look back on that biography now, and I think he was a little hard on himself. And it's clear the guy was a good dude. He remained a good dude. He was, one of the biggest personalities in music ever. I mean, I'm sure at one point he was the biggest personality in music for a time. And like we said, he brought other bands up. He let people shut up, Brian, in the chat. Like he used his level of fame and celebrity and influence to help other people get, to a different level. And it's, I always think back to what he said. I think it was in Live and Lies, like, please believe me, when I say I love you, I love you. When I say I need you, I need you. You people are everything to me. Like, the guy meant it. And I always give the ultimate respect to musicians who actually understand that, people like us, sitting here on a dumb podcast, we're the ones that buy the tickets. We're the ones that buy the records. We buy the merch. Like, we make their careers. And it means everything to me when those guys actually understand it and show some appreciation. And I think Ozzy did that for, 5-6 decades. So, yeah, just fucking wow, man. Incredible, just incredible. There's never going to be another Ozzy. It's not anywhere close.
Do you think there was kind of this isn't any revelation I get, kind of just a quiet sort of a sadness about the guy in general? Like,
from who?
Just Ozzy himself. Do you think he was just like yeah, he just seemed like a really kind of a lost, lonely soul, and I don't think he had any clue how revered he was or how talented people thought he was. I don't know if that was due to, I think he did have kind of a rough upbringing, didn't he, and stuff. I don't know.
I mean, potentially, but we're not going to talk about that because I was dumping out of the show. So shut up. So thanks for tuning in to another episode. No, I mean, you're not wrong. And yeah, his upbringing, like I said, he dropped out of school and he spent, what was he, 16 or 17 or something? He spent, I want to say, a month in jail because he fucked up and got thrown in the clink, and his dad wouldn't pay the fine to get him out because he's like, you need to learn a lesson. Like, yeah, it was, and having, I read his biography and I read Geezer Butler's. I gotta read Tony Iommi's. That reminds me, but it's been very well documented. Where they grew up, in Birmingham was, it was still bombed out from the war, and it was just poverty and filth, and it was gritty, man, and very hopeless, just gray and dirty, and that's what basically shaped Black Sabbath. And Ozzy just was like, fuck you, I'm gonna I love the Beatles, I'm gonna be a musician, and goddamn if he didn't succeed, right? So
yep.
Well, all right, guys, well, let's jump out of here. Real quick before we go, I said I had to hawk some product here. So I'm definitely going to do that for our very good friend, Mr. Cale McLeish. Cale, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe it was Monday this came out. On his birthday, Cale released his new EP entitled Everywhere But Anywhere. You can get it on all the major streaming services. I know I've got mine on Amazon Music, and I think it's on Apple Tunes and all that kind of stuff. Guys, it's basically it's like acoustic rock, I would say, but guys, it's really, really good. Cale has a great voice, great songwriter, especially the single on the record, Wasting Light, great lyrics and everything. Just it's not just shilling this thing and kind of kissing Cale's ass because he's literally our first listener viewer ever. It's good music, guys. You guys will really, really like it. So please go show Cale some love. Check out his EP. Again, it's titled Everywhere But Anywhere, and the single is called Wasting Light. And dude, excellent stuff. So please go check that out and give Cale some support, man. So Cale says it's in everything I could get to but Bandcamp. So don't go on Bandcamp. So, but yeah, man. So goodbye to Ozzy. Hello to my grandson. Hello to my new guitar. Man. Yeah, Aiken, thank you so much for jumping on. Sure. Pulling the curtain back a little bit, guys. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to come on tonight. Obviously with the baby thing going on, I didn't know if I'd be home in time. And I hit up Aiken 2 days ago and I asked if he could cover for me tonight. just in case, I needed coverage. And he immediately said yes, because he's, just a fucking awesome. Yeah. Right.
The gobs of money we pay him.
Yeah, that's
exactly. But no, man, Aiken, being the incredible friend that he is, man, he immediately said, yeah, I got it. And even, a couple hours ago texted me like, you still need me tonight? When I said, yeah, I'm on the show. He's like, you still need me? He's double checking. And I thought that tonight was a perfect night to have him on as a co-host, whether I was here or not. So
they all are. I'm great.
You are great. I'm not even I can't even joke about it. I wish I could, man. I wish I could bust your balls, but I can't.
I was pretty bummed when John's like, I think I'm going to make it tonight. I was like, oh,
damn.
That's wonderful news.
We almost got through a whole show without Van Halen talk. Almost. Until John showed up.
Oh my God. Jackal, thank you, man. Thank you, Jim. He says, congrats, John. Doug McCauley says, thanks for the show, Chris. Yep. Aiken's always great, man. He's the professional here. Brian and I are just a couple of dummies. So, but thank you, Aiken, for jumping on and backing me up, man. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Brian, for being flexible and, because obviously my schedule.
All right, already. Carpe diem and all that other bullshit. Let's go.
It's my show. I can pontificate at the end if I want.
Stop sucking my dick.
Well, I'm not doing that.
It's the first time.
There goes YouTube. Holy shit, man. True. All right, guys. So Aiken is right. We will jump out of here. So thank you guys so much for checking out another episode of Talking Into Infinity, a Dream Theater podcast, Dream Theater centric podcast, excuse me. We will be right back here at all of our normal locations. It will be Thursday, August 7th. At 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you are watching on YouTube, please click that like button, click that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time we go live. Guys, again, do not forget to download or buy, actually, I should say, buy Cale McLeish's new album, Everywhere But Anywhere, available on all streaming platforms except for Bandcamp. And Brian, thanks for jumping on, man. Aiken, thank you. And guys, thank all of you. As I said at the outset, a bunch of you guys have hit me up behind the scenes and offered me good wishes and best, good hopes and all that kind of good vibe stuff for my grandson and my stepdaughter and my wife and everything. So thank you guys all for that. And well, again, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. I'm your host, John. He is Chris Aiken. He is Brian. And until next time, guys. I love my grandson, MJ. He's going to be a kick-ass little dude. And as always, y'all, Carpe Diem.